Hey everybody, it's Friday, February 20th. So it's probably been about 2 weeks since my last video. Um, Happens. A lot of stuff going on. Kind of haven't really felt overly led on any particular new topics. I think a lot of my videos cover a lot of the stuff that I kind of think about all the time, and sometimes it becomes not mundane, but it doesn't serve a purpose to continue to put the same stuff up all the time. But today, short little vignette. I'm really excited, and at the same time a little little scared. I just recently started reading a book, and I'm not going to say the name of the book or anything like that. As of right now, if you want to know the name of the book, get a hold of me. I'll tell you. Just strictly because I haven't finished it yet, and I'm not 100% sure where it's going to leave me, but I don't have a whole lot of people, that are like immediately readily available for conversation. Life for everybody right now is pretty busy, and but I just wanted to kind of share this because I am extremely excited about it, and I'm not a really big book reader, with the exception of my Bible. I don't really read too much, so my wife is excited. But I'm reading this book, and of course it has to do with my faith and stuff like that, and particularly the church and the way that it functions, and stuff, and the history of that. And this book, I'm probably a little less than halfway through it, and it's already really got me on edge. Like, not in a negative way, but a lot of the factual, both historical and biblical evidence that it brings forward, for the support of what it is that the book is about, is very challenging, for me. And this is going to be a book that, when I get done with it, it's not going to be just a thing where it's, okay, how do I apply this to my life and to help me become closer to God? This is really could potentially affect my way of thinking about things. I mean, as it is now, I'm kind of, find myself in a group of believers that, is constantly seeking God and the genuineness and the truthfulness of His Word, and comparing that against the way that we're living our lives and the way that we're, doing church and stuff like that. And I mean, as it is now, there are already some things that I'm kind of convicted about, that the way that the church in general operates, I don't understand, and that don't make sense to me. And this book is only going to, expound upon that. And it's essentially going to be a situation where, when I'm done with it, it's not so much a, okay, well, what are you going to do with this? It's, well, what do you do with it? Because it's one of two things. You either do nothing, and, or you either potentially do nothing, because, as I said, I'm not done with it yet. I haven't really come to a finite decision on what it is that I feel, where it hasn't completely shaped me one way or another. But as I said, thus far, it's very, very compelling and very resourceful. It's got me thinking a lot more than I normally do. And, it's not a situation where, you could kind of do something, you could kind of not do something. You're either going to do something or you're going to do nothing. But doing nothing potentially aids in the further misdirection of certain things, and doing something could completely just complicate this life and my relationships within the community of Christ even further. But you don't necessarily know what the outcome of that's going to be. So it's a lot to ponder. But I just kind of wanted to throw it out there because I just today I felt like for some reason, this needed to be said, that potentially there needs to be big change in our lives, not just individually as Christians, but collectively as the church. And not flambasting the church as it functions now and saying that it's wrong or anything like that, because it functions the way that it functions now for a reason. But everything changes over time, and sometimes it needs to change again. But it's maybe in a direction, the change that needs to happen maybe in a direction that we don't ultimately think about too much, except for a certain group of people. That's it. That's all I got today. I just kind of had to get that out. And my wife she gets a little bored with my excitement, or I noticed that glazed look in her eyes when I talk too much over something that she maybe not necessarily is wanting to talk about at this point in time. So, but that's it. If you have any questions or anything, I'm sorry it's vague, but I'm like I said, I'm not done yet. So I don't want to throw too much out there, and I ultimately don't even know when I get to the end of this what I'm going to do, because I'm already foreseeing that being a very big question, and my response needing to be ultimately as appropriate to the question at hand. So that's it. Thanks a lot, guys. Hopefully I'll see you again before another 2 weeks, but who knows? Life happens. All right, have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.